let's talk before we get out of here a little bit about Tupac, because you had the honor and the privilege of having a relationship with this man. I met him once as a fan. I smoked a blunt with Biggie and Tupac in a nightclub.
That's dope.
Back in the day when Funkmaster Flex was DJing. Pac's born in New York. You had spent some time in DMV, right?
I was born there.
Born DMV.
You got a lot of Baltimorean.
Yeah, he went to school in DMV. Jada Pinkett and them. Cut his teeth in the Bay. Became Tupac in the Bay. But then became a superstar in LA.
He wanted that.
He wanted that. Yeah, man. Tell us about your relationship with Pac.
He would have also equally have gotten that in New York, because I think at first he wanted it more in New York.
He did, and part of his whole fuck New York thing was about that resentment.
Yep, it really was. It really was. And so Pac, to me, was the little homie. I like you said, you pull up in the Bay and Dale was working at the record store.
Right.
I bought a keyboard at a music store from Shock G. When his name was like Greg or something like that.
Shout out to Shock G. I just read
He was Shock G. He was the key. He told me, he was like, I'm from
in Florida. He live in Florida now.
But he was like, I'm from New Jersey. He was like, he knew about me. He was like, man, I pimped my way across here and I ended up in the music store and I'm funky and all this stuff, and he was serious. So I had a thing with Shock. Like we that one little meeting and kind of knew, respect. And he immediately, like it wasn't long from the time that I saw him that he became Digital Underground. Like it was quick, do what you like, and they started coming out. So Tupac was a little homie in their crew. And our crews are really close. Digital Underground and the guys that I rode with, we weren't, like E40's crew and my crew were connected to the streets through cocaine.
Okay.
But Digital Underground and Too Short, we was strictly connected through music.
Okay.
We had musicians. I had musicians. They had musicians.
Right.
Some of the guys.
Shock is an incredible musician.
Like two musicians, Shorty B that played guitar and bass, and Pee Wee that played keyboards and everything else.
Yeah.
They both played for Digital Underground and played on tons of my songs. Lots of shit, like both groups. And through those two dudes, that's where the Tupac connection came. Because I'm like, I had this thing, bro, like, I kind of still got it. I had this thing where my friends don't like my music friends.
Okay.
I can never mix them up.
Right.
So I can't be hanging with Tupac and then be like, oh, come roll me real quick and take him over there, because then they're gonna be like, oh man, you Tupac, like they're gonna try to like get you to do stuff that I'm like, I don't want to be responsible for.
Right.
So I would keep the shit separated. And as soon as I finish rapping and dealing with music people, I'm blast over to where I'm at and don't bring nothing rap with me. Because they be, it's just funny, man. They be like, man, it's my own homies, right? They're like, bro, you be on that rapper weirdo shit. I'm like,
right,
I'm
that's
like,
me.
man.
I'm the rapper weirdo shit.
I
know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
But I'm hanging with all these little gangsters, all these little homies that do shit. They like, you're a fucking rapper. Like, it's a thing. So, the times when I did get to hang out with Tupac, it'd be Shorty B, Pee Wee, pull up on the studio. I'd like to tell people that every time I saw Tupac, he had probably 4 or 5 different distinct personas, and it would he would randomly be one of them. Like I knew him for a while before I saw him do an interview on BET, and he was talking all this militant, Black Panther history type of stuff, and I was sitting there watching that going, what the fuck is that? Like I never seen him do that shit. But then other times after that, you'd be with him and he started dropping some little knowledge or something. Like he could get quick into something.
He had the book knowledge, he had the street knowledge.
The other times, like in the Biggie movie where he walking with the lap, he'd be that guy too, like fucking blunt, cigarette, Hennessy, and he'd just be that guy sometimes, talking shit, that Tupac. Then other times he'd be like this,
the glasses Tupac.
So like a spiritual kind of brother who's super wise and
me against the world Tupac.
Yeah, for the ladies and shit. And I mean, it just was. I hung out with Tupac one day where, he was gangster Tupac, and I'm like, man, I was like, man,
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that. He's like, and then other time, I've so much Tupac, man. Like Tupac was in Atlanta the same time as me. We get to Atlanta the mid '90s.
He was shooting cops in Atlanta.
He really did that.
Yeah.
And he was like a mythical guy, like literally, like women. Like Tupac would leave like a trail of like women who were like advertising for him and shit. Like they was, I don't know, he's like magic man. He's the kind of dude who, if we all in the room, and no matter who's the hierarchy, let him talk. Like let him have the stage, because it just like Ice-T or somebody, like, don't try to out-talk him. Let him.
What you just said about when he's in the room, let him talk, that's Yasin Bey Mos Def vibes. That's what I think about when I'm Mos Def. When he's in the room, he got the floor because you want to hear from him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So he was that guy. That's the best thing I could say is, you know, that's the guy that you would like kind of like be really famous around. And for a moment you go, I don't want to be famous. Like, I'm going to go play this little side thing and watch the show.